Hello, welcome to another special episode of Hit or Miss Star Trek. I'm DK. Joining me that way is my esteemed co-host Mike. Hello, Mike.
Hello there.
Nice one.
Sorry, wrong franchise.
And today, it's another special episode following on from our Dave Blass interview last time. This time, we are speaking to Noah Averbach-Katz. Now, viewers will know him, obviously, from Discovery Season 3, and more recently, players from Star Trek Online will know him as Ray Yeet. So, yeah, we spoke to him earlier, and this is what's come from it.
Just to clarify as well, we did briefly talk to Noah offline, partly because I forgot to press record. That's on me. I apologize. So just to fill you in as the audience, the couple of questions that we missed that Noah did answer were just what kind of got him starting with acting, to which he just said he was kind of rode along on a wave and there was no one incident. We asked him what got him into Star Trek, and he mentioned it was just watching episodes with his mum. And he didn't have a choice, and he was dragged along to conventions.
Yeah, him and his friends.
Yeah, and DK asked what was his first episode. He couldn't remember, but he said he thought it was probably an episode of Next Gen, which is fair enough. And we just mentioned, what was it like feeling? What did it feel like to be part of the Star Trek universe now? And he just said that it was obviously everything you would have thought, but also the main takeaway he had was meeting David Ajala, who plays Book on Discovery, because he shared most of his scenes with him, and he said he learned a lot from him, and a lot about acting on TV, and they struck up a kind of friendship. So we do reference back to that, I think, a couple of times in the bulk of the interview. So apologies for missing those first 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, apologies for the technical issues, but let's be honest, we're a couple of podcasters and we were just geeking out. So bear with us.
Yes, so don't mind my sycophantic praise either at the very end, but what the heck, I met somebody I love watching on TV, so there you go. So without further ado, I'm going to cross over to DK of the Future/Past for the questions, and here we are, the two of us interviewing Noah Averbach-Katz.
Are there any other influences that you drew on for the role, either in or out of the Star Trek fold, as it were?
I just tried to watch David Ajala, because he's really good at acting, and so I tried to copy everything he did and just sort of let him. We did so many of our scenes together, and just kind of let him guide me in terms of the energy of the scenes, but also how to approach this style of television show, and also just about being excited to be there, being excited to be acting and doing all this crazy stuff we got to do. He was my other main influence. He was my modern influence on set, and he was just such a great scene partner.
Oh, fantastic!
That's awesome. Yeah. So what was my question? I was just going to say, for me, I think you made such an impact in the 3rd season of Discovery that I was kind of shocked when I read that you were in 3 episodes.
I know.
It felt like more. To me, it felt like more anyway. And I remember, spoiler alert, I was really devastated when your character met his end. And I remember thinking, there's no way this is the last we're seeing of this guy. It's going to be
dead. This dude is I don't think there's a more dead character in Star Trek.
Oh no, I'm fairly convinced Rin's dead, but I had a feeling it might be a Kenneth Mitchell situation, and they might bring you back as another alien, maybe.
Oh, I don't know. It's tough because honestly, it's they shoot in Toronto, so they can only hire a certain number of American actors, and most of those actors are series regulars. So it's this weird puzzle piece thing where you have to you get 1 or 2 other American actors. So I was lucky enough to be one of those people in season 3, but having that line up again is pretty tricky. So it probably isn't going to happen, as they move towards the sort of twilight of the show. But anything's possible.
And would you do it if you were asked?
Well, what do you think? I mean, come on.
In a heartbeat. Fair enough.
Nice one. Since then, you've been a regular player on the Disco does D&D. Can you tell us about how you became involved in that?
Yeah, well, when we were up there, when they were shooting season 4, it was like November 2020. It was pre-vaccine, and like it was super locked down in Canada, so much so that the cast wasn't hanging out with each other outside of sets. So it was it's just a crappy time to be doing anything for anyone. I think anyone anywhere was having a bad time around then, especially in the winter when you couldn't go outside. And me and a bunch of the castmates, I had been playing D&D with my like friends, and I had wanted to kind of bring that in, and I mentioned it to Anthony and I mentioned it to Blue, and they both sort of were like, it's happening, we're doing this. And so we just sort of started playing on our own on the weekends, which was just such like a necessary time for us to get to hang out because we couldn't hang out at all. And then we sort of transitioned to like streaming it, which has been really, really fun. And this great little community has popped up around it. It's been hard as season 5 starts to shoot now. You know, we've had to take these kind of breaks, whatever, but we're trying to get back to it with more regularity. But it's been so much fun just to get a chance to really hang out with my friends and play games with them, you know, and bring a bunch of other people into the fold as well, who we've gotten to meet in real life at conventions and stuff. It's just been an absolute blast.
Nice one. Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, related to something you were saying earlier, you'd mentioned that one of your biggest influences was David Ajala, and kudos, by the way, on befriending a Brit, because that's always great. But I've noticed around social media that you guys have a bit of a friendly rivalry going on with like finding each other's characters, figures at conventions and things. And I was just wondering how that got started. When was the first shot fired in this little war between you two?
Oh man, he's just such a great dude. He's just got such a great attitude. He's just so much fun. You know, all you British people can really take a joke until you can't anymore. So it's just great. Yeah, I just love seeing him. You know, I feel like whenever I get to see him, it's just like a great moment to reconnect. I sort of just go back to those good times we shared on set. He's really intelligent about not just acting, but career building, about like industry stuff. And it's just so interesting and satisfying to pick his brain about how he approaches this stuff, how he has built his life, what his plans for the future are. And so I just feel really comfortable around him. And he, you know, he's one of those guys who he knows everybody. Everybody knows him. Everybody's happy to see him. Everybody likes him. And so you just sort of, for somebody who, you know, brings a bit of a more New York American sensibility, which is like, don't talk to me, leave me alone, get away from me. It's nice to drift in his wake of that, and we just kind of keep that going on Twitter as well.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Cool.
Yeah, nice one. I'm sure he'll love to hear that, singing his praises.
Yeah, exactly. I won't tweet it though.
I've been looking at your Kickstarter, Type 1, and it's a fascinating project. Obviously, it touches upon a subject that rarely features in these types of stories, and obviously it's something very dear to your heart. What initially gave you the idea?
What initially gave me the idea? I was working on a play in Baltimore, and we had a deaf actress named Trishelle Edmonds, who's really wonderful and was sort of gracious enough to peel back the curtain a little bit for me to look at what like the deaf community is like, and just getting a chance to peek inside that world and how complex and also how vital it is really highlighted for me how necessary it is for people with disabilities, but also how much of a dearth of like I mean, there are a lot of communities in the diabetes world, but they're very spread out. They're very online, and there aren't a lot of things to like anchor them. And I just started thinking about, you know, a lot of the time things that can anchor communities are media, you know, some sort of art of any kind, you know, not just film. So I started bouncing some ideas around in my head, and then the pandemic started. That was, you know, March 2020, and I just sat down for 2 weeks and wrote this script. And then over the next 2 years, slowly move towards launching the Kickstarter and then shooting it and getting the team. And we actually have it shot. We have our second rough cut of it done, and we're bringing in music, and it's chugging along. You know, there was some COVID hiccups, which sort of threw a pretty big wrench in the streamline of it, but it is still happening. You know, it's still moving forward. And I need to start rewarding people on Kickstarter, you know, because people showed up, and it's coming on time for me to start sending out some stickers and pins and videos and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to getting started on that, and ultimately getting people, you know, giving people a chance to check out this movie.
Well, we'll put a description. We'll put a link in the description so people can check it out. Can they still contribute?
The Kickstarter's done, but it's like a good place to figure out what the project's all about, and, you know, kind of figure out how to go from there.
Nice one. And with regards to that, are you involved at the minute in any charity work? If so, we'll put that in the description.
Yeah, I'm partnered with a charity called T1 International, which actually has a headquarters in England. They don't take money from pharmaceutical companies, which is a really big deal here in the States. And they basically help communities either here in the States, they do it state by state, or around the world. They have like different branches, and like help them facilitate lawmaking efforts, essentially. And they're a great organization. They're sort of partnered with the film as well. So T1 International, it's just a really, really fantastic organization.
Fantastic. Yeah, if you send me the link afterwards, we'll make sure it goes in the description so people can follow up on it.
Definitely, yeah. I encourage everybody to check out Noah's Twitter, and just everybody from Star Trek Discovery does a lot of great activism. So
definitely
look around all of those linked sort of accounts of Blue Del Barrio, Ian Alexander, Anthony Rapp, Wilson Cruz. We all know the names. So yeah. Awesome. Speaking of which, you already mentioned kind of your main scene partner in Discovery was David Ajala. But as the world's most rabid Superman fan, I have to ask what it was like working with Janet Kidder.
With Janet. Oh my God, that's so funny. Janet's awesome, man. She's just like, she was just in it, you know. She was just like absolutely. She's just like one of those people who is just like an actress through and through. You know what I mean? Like absolute professional, has so clearly been like on a million bajillion sets. Yeah, we didn't get to spend a huge amount of time together. I think we really just did that my very last scene together. But I was so great, and it was also nice to get to do something opposite, who was also somebody who was also in prosthetics too, because we could both sort of be like, how are you doing over there? And it's like, not good.
Feeling green, feeling blue. Yeah,
exactly.
Cool. And the other part of this question I was going to ask is, I don't know if you know that you've taken off as a bit of a meme in the Star Trek community, and I'm just going to try and share this here. So how does it feel to be known?
Oh yes. Oh, I know all about that. You know, I that was my idea to give that thumbs up, and I thought like, this is the perfect GIF. You know what I mean? I didn't think they were gonna put it in because I obviously didn't give them like the thumbs up every single time or whatever. I gave them a lot of different takes, but I thought like, you know, one of the great things about knowing Star Trek is you know that it can hold some kind of goofy stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I knew it could hold that thumbs up, and I was so happy that they decided to put it in. It's very good.
Yeah, awesome. You've gone down in history as a meme, so that's going to be
exactly
awesome.
Going back on the influences on you personally, is there anyone out there apart from obviously David Ajala that you admire? Any role models, inspirations, kind of thing?
Oh, you know, I think actually like Kenneth Mitchell is such an amazing role model for me, and just human being. You know, getting to work with him on set was a really, really incredible experience, and the way he was supported on set and brought back was really, really meaningful. And watching how he has navigated everything since then, and this portion of his life, which is so deeply challenging and painful, and how he hasn't lost his sense of humor, how he hasn't lost his sense of connection, and how he, is so invested in his family and so appreciative of all the people who have supported him during this time. And it's also just really amazing to see the group of people who have come out to support him, who have been his lifelong friends, who are just like another group of amazing people that he obviously cultivated. He just attracts amazing people, and they show up to support him. So yeah, Kenny is just a really amazing guy, and I'm really lucky to know him.
Yeah, I thought he was great at the end of season 3, and I was really touched to see that they named a ship after him at the end of season 4. Yeah. And his response to that was great as well. So, yeah. Awesome. Do you have any other interests that we might not know about outside of like Star Trek and D&D?
No, that's it, man. I got to be honest with you guys. That's it. It's Star Trek, D&D, and type 1 diabetes, man. That's really, okay. That's all I've got. You guys have touched it for sure.
Well, fair enough. DK.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that I see you broadcast your Star Trek Online games on Twitch.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That's one. Yeah, so I started streaming just because like I was looking for something to do. And I've been streaming basically Star Trek Online for almost 9 months now, which has been amazing. I've had a bunch of the developers on the show. I've been in the game, which was amazing. And it's just been so much fun. And it's been so fun again to just sort of like integrate into this little community that loves this game, that knows it so well, that has all their inside jokes and, all. It's been so fun to play this game, which is the most complex game I've ever encountered in my life. I don't know how anyone understands it. And have people guide me through it, and who are so excited. It almost feels like people are guiding me through watching Star Trek for the first time. You know what I mean? Where like, oh, you're coming up on this. Oh, you're coming up on this part. Like, oh, you're going to want to check out this part, So it's just been so much fun and such a unique and fun and sweet experience.
I've been playing it for a few months myself, so I'm completely simpatico with your thought that you need to be guided through it, because some of it's
you do. Yeah. And it's so funny because it's like, there's just some things where it's like you have to press this button, and if you don't, then you're just screwed. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, how would you ever know that in a million years? It's like, no, you have to press this button. And then of course, when I'm playing the game, I won't press the button, and I'll have to everything will get deleted or something horrible will happen. And they'll be like, I told you. And I was like, you guys are right. You guys are absolutely right. I did have to press the button.
I'm regularly on the forum saying, what am I supposed to do now? But weirdly enough, I was playing, for the first time, I played Stormfall this morning. With your character, Ray Yeet. How does that feel to be yet another character in the Trek universe?
It was so much fun. It was like working with Al, who's kind of the lead there, watching him sort of build this character. And I don't know. It's just a blast, man. It's just like super fun and totally bizarre to like listen to myself playing the game. I'm like, this is honestly like very weird. I'm so used to like listening to other people do it and be like, oh yeah, there's this person. And I'm like, it's like, oh, there's Kate Mulgrew. It's, oh, that's so fun. And then I'm like listening to myself and I'm like, this is absolutely bizarre.
Well, I played it today, and I was saying to Mike before you came into the room, it must be very strange playing yourself, fighting yourself.
Yeah. It was weird. It was totally weird, man. It was honestly extremely weird.
Nice one.
That's great. I would also encourage people to check out your Twitter for when you're kind of on Twitch playing Star Trek Online and stuff, because it's always fun to take part in as well. So and just to watch it. Awesome. This is perhaps a bit of a cliche question, but I was just kind of curious. If you could give one piece of advice to your teenage self, or even the younger generation now, what would it be, do you think, from your acting journey?
Oh, my God. What would I tell my teenage self? I would probably tell my teenage self to not worry about where you go to college. You'll just have a good time. I don't know. That's not a really good advice, but that's what I would tell him. Just chill. You're fine. Everything's okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, fair enough then.
Do you have any? I was going to say, do you have any fond memories? What's the fondest memory that you've had of your acting career so far?
Oh my gosh, my fondest memory. I will say it's not so much like memories, but I've made, some of my best friends who I'm in touch with today from shows that I've done, like all of the people who I call up every week and check in on and have like really close, deep, meaningful relationships with have all come from plays that I've done. And that is just kind of makes it all worth it. It actually really is what it's all about. It's about like the people you kind of meet along the way. It's not, how good your soliloquy was, who cares? You know what I mean? So I really do think those are all the memories that I cherish, is just like getting to know all these new friends and then continuing these friendships long after the play closes. Who cares about the play anymore?
Yeah, that's fair enough. I know you mentioned that you play Star Trek Online, and it's kind of weird watching yourself in the game. And I noticed that one of your stretch goals for the Kickstarter as well was to watch back your 3 episodes of Discovery.
So
I was curious if you've done that yet or not.
No, that is the very last thing I will do, because that is weird too, because I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about that whole time, because I'm only in 10 minutes per episode. So the rest of the time I'm just going to be sitting there watching it. And then the time I am watching it myself, I just have like a million things to say. So I'm just blah, 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 blah. It's very weird to watch yourself. I will say what is nice is watching myself with a prosthetic on. You don't get as nitpicky in the same way, but you're like, well, who is that? What's going on there? And I shot that, that was in 2019. It's getting on, that's when I shot it. So we're coming towards like, wow, that was a long time ago. Maybe in years, it's only been 3 years, who cares? But I think since 2019, it feels like a fucking long time.
Yeah. 2020 was like 7 years, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, damn, did I do this like in 2001? Jesus.
Fair enough.
So have you recorded everything for all your episodes coming up then, or?
Yes, I have. Yeah. Everything is recorded as far as I know. Until honestly, what probably will happen is they'll just like email me and be like, hey, could you come in and do this? And I'll just say, yeah, sure. So as far as I know, everything's recorded, but I know nothing. So there you go.
Oh, shit. Okay. There goes the next question.
That's fair. What was I going to say? Apologies if it's a bit of a personal question, but obviously you are married to the lovely Mary Wiseman, who plays Tilly on Discovery.
Yes.
And you were a huge Trekkie since like youth, as you've mentioned. When she booked the gig on Discovery, was she a huge Trekkie, or was it like you had to educate her in the ways of Trek?
I sat her down and I had her watch 2 things, because she had no turnaround. There wasn't like, she didn't have a year to prep. She had she was working on a play, the play closed, and the next day she flew up to Toronto to start shooting. So I had 2 hours. So I had her watch 2 things. I had her watch Trekkies with Denise Crosby, because I wanted to see what she got into. I feel like people don't like that movie anymore, but when I was growing up, I watched that like 50 times and I loved it.
I love that.
I don't know. And then I showed her the Next Gen episode, The Offspring, with Law.
Oh, wow.
And I felt like that would appeal to her sensibilities as like sort of what Trek can be. And that was it. After that, I was like, honestly, like, you are the authority now. You've been on you're on it. You get to say whatever the hell you want. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. She was easily my favorite character, I think, from The Off. Very relatable Star Trek characters are always something that appeals to me.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a dork, so.
There you
go. Cool. Did you have anything else, DK?
Yeah, I was going to say, what's your impression on the convention circuit? Is it something that you enjoy, that you actively go out and take part in?
I've really loved the conventions because I went to conventions, and so I understand how meaningful interactions with these folks can be, so especially early on, meeting everybody and really getting a chance to give them your attention was a really special experience for me, because my cat wants to get on. Because
Hello.
because I know how much that means to people and how much it meant to me when I was a kid. So it's been amazing. It's slowing down a little bit for me because I've kind of met a lot of people, and there's only so many times you can meet the guy who did 3 episodes. But it's always there, it will always be there, especially now. So like, I don't feel early on, I sort of felt like I really want to get to every convention that I can while this thing's still fresh. And now it feels like, I can go 1 year and not go the next year or something like that, or go to some conventions I haven't been to before. But yeah, it's been great. And it's also been great to watch, particularly, the new Discovery people and the new Strange New Worlds people interact with the fans, because they're fresh at it, and convention going is such a different thing than it was in 2001 when I was going, and so they're just amazing at it as well, which is really wonderful to see, and wonderful to see that it doesn't feel like a chore for them. It doesn't feel like they don't feel unhappy to be there, where like I feel like back in the 90s and aughts, there was such a stigma attached. It felt like you had to lower yourself to go to a convention, for a lot of actors, outside of the Star Trek community. So it's great to see that not an attitude, but that sort of energy and that sort of like that sort of thing just isn't there anymore, and everybody who's there, both new and old, is just super happy to be there, which is fantastic.
That's also, yeah. Well, hopefully they and you feel the love from the fans, because
absolutely,
definitely
one of the most positive parts of the fandom. And
yeah,
on a similar kind of related note to that, do you still kind of geek out when you see like the Discovery casts, and you obviously you hang out with a lot of them?
The Discovery casts are my friends, so I don't geek out anymore with them.
Okay.
But when I meet anybody from pre 2005. I'm definitely geeking extremely hard. Very secretly, nobody knows, but I know.
And are you like the rest of us watching Strange New Worlds as a fan, just kind of geeking out week after week as well?
Yeah, I haven't really tuned in much to check it out yet, but I think it's awesome. And I know Ethan and I know Anson, and I've had the chance to meet a couple of those other folks. I met at the convention in Chicago. I met, a couple very briefly, and they just seem fantastic. And I'm super happy for them. Seems like it's going amazingly well.
Yeah, Trek's going from strength to strength, thankfully, I think. Good. So it's good to see.
Yeah. With regards to that, do you have a favorite series?
Oh, favorite? Yeah. I mean, I tend to say Enterprise.
Wow.
It's more the series that I grew up on. That was my week to week 10 to 13-year-old series. So that really was my bread and butter. And I also think like it really is the best and worst of Star Trek in a way that you can like, there are some just god awful trash episodes of Next Gen, which people like to ignore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't ignore anything in Enterprise. It's all there. There's no cherry picking in Enterprise. Which I appreciate.
Oh, fantastic! I'm so glad you're an Enterprise fan.
It's really weird because I'm actually I'm rewatching Enterprise season 1 and Discovery season 3 at the same time. So
there you go.
Seeing those clash.
Very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Sorry, DK.
No, it's fine. So what's next for you going forward? Have you got anything?
I gotta finish this goddamn movie, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's mainly focusing on that and focusing on fulfilling the Kickstarter rewards as well. So that is like my next big undertaking, because that's a lot to do. There's 700 backers. I want to make sure everybody feels like they contributed to something that makes them, that justifies their contribution, and that they get rewarded in the way that they deserve. So that's sort of what I'm working on these days.
Nice one.
I can't wait to see the film. Hopefully it gets out soon and we can share it around and spread the word.
I'll keep you posted.
Definitely.
Awesome. Anything else?
No, I've got no more questions. If my esteemed colleague hasn't.
No, I was just going to say, I hope you start to feel better soon. I know you've said you suffered
thank you guys.
a little bout of COVID, and I can kind of see you struggling, so I don't want to give you too long.
Exactly. I wanted to thank you for giving us this time.
My pleasure, guys.
And for kindly putting up with my DMs. I know I can be a pain in the ass sometimes.
I think you sent me 4, so I think you're good. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well,
I appreciate it.
If you're ever in the Barcelona area, the drinks are on me. So
okay. All right. That's an offer I'll absolutely take you up on.
Just hit me up and I'll be your guide, man.
And if you're ever near the northeast of England, near Newcastle area, I'll buy you a drink down here.
I'll take that up too, man. That sounds like a vacation. I know where I'm going this summer, man. We're going to Barcelona, and then we're going to the north. There we go.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I just want to say I really was impressed with you in Discovery playing Rain. I thought it was a really cool character, and like I said, made an impact that I really was surprised it was only 3 episodes, and I love that 3rd season, and you were a big part of it for me. So again, thanks for coming on and talking to us.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for having me. You have
good
a
luck
great
with
day.
everything.
You
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, so there we have it. That was our interview with Noah Averbach-Katz. Thank you for that, Noah. Absolutely charming bloke, and hope to see him again soon in other projects. Looking forward to Type 1, by the way. So that's been the special episode of Hit or Miss Star Trek. So you can find the details, our usual details, below in the description, not only ours, but we'll put links into Noah's Kickstarter and his charity work, so you can find it whenever you need it. Going forward, we've got season 3 coming up. We'll be looking at, I think, what's the theme? It's time travel this time, isn't it, Mike?
Yes, the theme of season 3 will be time travel.
Nice.
We've already got a few. We've put a few feelers out, and we've got a few kind of episodes penciled in that we're going to be looking at. So do keep a lookout for that. It should be starting around, I think, September time. So yeah, fingers crossed that goes well.
But wait, there's more. Hopefully, we're going to get some more interviews. So if anybody out there from the Star Trek world would like to be interviewed, please let us know. But we will be on the lookout for other guests. We've also got some more fun stuff coming up. That's more Mike's field. I'm not going to mention it. If Mike wants to talk about it now, I'll just keep it under suspense. That's up to
well, let's just say if you're a fan of competition among Trekkies, then you're going to want to stay tuned for that. And if anybody has been following me around the internet and you saw me on a channel called Who Game Shows, that might give you an impression of what we're doing, but obviously not Doctor Who related. So yeah.
Or if you like to watch podcasters making a fool of themselves. So yeah, we'll hopefully see you for season 3. And in the meantime, if we get any more special episodes, we'll be sure to let you know. But in the meantime, remember, live long and prosper. We are Starfleet.